quarterback, every once in a while you get a little too excited, try and make that handoff before you get the ball.
That brings up 2nd down and goal from the 7-yard line. Roper, play action, rolls near side, throws, incomplete. Derek Jones. That ball was thrown so hard, I thought it knocked him over.
He was wide open, too. The ball is thrown. You're going to see it's behind Jones. He cannot make the turn to make that catch, but wide open. And that, you know, that's just one of those things. Roper's made a lot of really good throws today. That was not one of his better ones. You'd like to have that one back because it's an easy touchdown.
Roper now 15 of 26, 171 yards, and 3 touchdowns along the way.
That should have been 4.
On 3rd and goal. With a slip pass up the middle, walking in, touchdown, Stewart.
So there's number 4.
Penalty flag on the field.
There is a penalty flag.
Offside. Defense. Penalty is declined. Touchdown.
And the touchdown stands. Stewart puts Oregon on top 45-14. And Evenson trots out for the extra point.
This has been an absolute clinic in this 3rd quarter by Mike Balloting and his Oregon Ducks. That's 21 points off of the 3 turnovers. 2 interceptions and a fumble by Matt Grothe and Taurus Johnson. That's led to 21 unanswered points in the 2nd half.
6 plays, 51 yards, and 1:40 off the clock. Back-to-back interceptions thrown by South Florida, and you have to tip your hat to Justin Roper. First collegiate start, Sun Bowl. There's 1, and there's 2. 4 touchdowns on the afternoon for Justin Roper.
And you got to give the kid credit. He's played very, very calm and cool and collected, made good decisions all day long. Also, need to give a lot of credit to Chip Kelly, Mike Balloting, and that staff, though, for creating really, really good opportunities to make those throws and make those plays. There's a reason why these guys are open.
Dennis Dixon, you saw there, greeting Roper. And as you mentioned, the 21 points scored off the turnovers. You know, you look at the Sun Bowl record book, and another record has been set. Oregon scoring 28 points in the 3rd quarter. That surpasses, in 1984, Maryland and Tennessee put 22 up. That's 28 for Oregon here in the 3rd. And still over 4 minutes to play. If you are a South Florida fan, a stunning 3rd quarter.
To say the least, a very stunning 3rd quarter. I really expected to see this team come out and make the adjustments and make the ball game more their style. To really fly around on defense, make some plays, create problems for Oregon. That has not happened all day.
Grothe out of the pocket, slings it near side, out of bounds. Marcus Edwards out of Mayo, Florida, was the intended receiver. Well, Steve, compare the two today. Grothe, the sophomore, young, great career still ahead. Roper, the redshirt freshman. 198 yards passing for Grothe, 179 for Roper. But you look at that last stat, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions for Grothe, 4 touchdowns, no mistakes for Roper. Grothe runs out of the pocket, dropped at the 26-yard line.
And it's not going to get any easier for Matt Grothe right now. He's now in a position down. I don't even know if I can count that high, but he's down a lot. And he's down enough to where he's going to have to start making pass plays in this ball game. He's going to have to start forcing the issue, trying to make some scores quickly. being down 32 points, the clock now becomes a factor for sure.
Under 3.5 to play in the third quarter. Grothy throws complete. Cedric Hill, and again, Walter Thurman, they're bringing it. There's no let up by Oregon.
Well, the corners for Oregon have played spectacular football today. Walter Thurman and Jarris Byrd. That was a fantastic read by Walter Thurman, coming up and reading that quick pass out there, forcing South Florida to do what they do not want to do anymore, and that's punt the football.
Jarris Byrd is set to receive the punt. Line drive, Byrd, 36, falls forward to the 38-yard line. The hit game show with the questions that have America talking is back. 5 questions can win you $10 million. Drew Carey hosts The Power of 10, and that's returning Wednesday here on CBS, 8/7 Central. And the new year is just about here. I'm sure El Paso will be a fun spot tonight.
I think it will.
Right now, at least for Oregon fans.
You're going to have a lot of happy people wearing green, and unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of unhappy people wearing South Florida green, but I think everybody will agree the people of El Paso have made this very enjoyable for everyone.
Yeah, terrific time. Roper the handoff. Crenshaw. Maybe one up to the 39. And the clock running up to 2 minutes left in the third quarter. Well, the numbers beginning to really pile up. Roper, nearly 180 yards passing, over 200 yards rushing for Jonathan Stewart. Those two have combined for 5 touchdowns.
Just really solid football. There's not been one time during this game where you felt like Oregon did not know exactly what was going on.
Stewart back in, carries a pile of Bulls past the 45. He is so tough after the initial hit.
He really is. I mean, and to do what he's doing, cannot emphasize enough how painful and how much that turf toe injury has affected him. And to come out and carry this rock the way that he's carried it today, and to answer the bell, to take some of the pressure off the redshirt freshman Justin Roper, absolutely spectacular.
One more time.
Wow.
Oh. Well, he ran through a wall, and that wall was Gillum.
Yeah. And that wall came tumbling down.
Yes, it did, brick by brick. My goodness, what a collision.
There's no doubt who won that collision.
Well, no more history today. Stewart, first player in Sun Bowl history to rush for over 200 yards. Tough Tony Dorsett, Thurman Thomas, they've run on this field. But Stewart getting it done. You know, he had a 251-yard game against Washington this season. If he stays on the field in the fourth quarter, he has the potential to surpass that.
He can do it. There's no doubt about it. He can do it. And he told us he was ready, didn't he?
Yes, he did. We asked him, what percentage are you? I don't talk percentages. I just play. I just play.
Good answer.
Got an injured South Florida player down. And Saturday, we've got 3 scoops of hoop as Penn State takes on Michigan State and Tennessee battles Notre Dame in women's basketball. And in the nightcap, Rick Pitino's Louisville Cardinals take on their cross-state rival Kentucky. And it's right here on the home of the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship, CBS Sports. A tough road for Kentucky so far this season. High hopes. New head coach Tubby has moved on to Minnesota. And now Billy Gillespie under the direction at Kentucky. There's another flag drop as Ben Moffitt put pressure and holding the call.
Yeah, they're going to get Ed Dixon, number 83, as that pocket kind of broke down. Nobody was open. He was trying to help his quarterback out, but resorted to a little bit of a jersey tug, shall we say?
Holding, number 83. Penalty is declined. Be third down.
But now understand, I'm a big fan of doing whatever you got to do to keep the guy off the quarterback. I told all my offensive line, you got to hold him to keep him from hitting me. Go ahead and do it. That's fine.
You want to be there for one more play at least.
Right. You can't fumble if they get a holding call and you don't get hit.
Third down 11. Draw. Crenshaw. 30 seconds left on the third quarter clock. You like this combination, Stewart and Crenshaw. You know, Stewart does the bulk of the work, but when you get Andre Crenshaw coming in as your second back, that's a luxury.
Well, he can hurt you in a hurry. He's shown already today. He's only touched the ball maybe 7 or 8 times, but he can make up quick yards in a hurry.
So the Ducks forced to punt as the clock runs down to 7.
You're going to let it run out.
Oh, what a third quarter for Oregon. That ends the third with the score. 46-14 Oregon. Oregon took this game over in the third quarter. 4 touchdowns. 2 scored off 2 turnovers by South Florida. Good snap. And with the wind behind him, Cyree boots that ball out of the end zone. So
that wasn't even close.
No. If he was trying to pooch it, he a little bit lost. Strong leg. We'll be back.
They told you knowledge is power.
What percentage of Americans have spent a night in jail?
They were wrong. Figure out what America thinks and you could win big bucks. The Power of 10 returns CBS Wednesday.
Revlon Perfect Heat for perfect hair.
Dan Scott is a real Geico customer, not an actor. So to help tell his story, we hired someone who interviews actors.
It was the weekend and I had questions about my policy.
You had questions? How existential.
I called Geico. They were so helpful and gracious.
I've heard they were also quite beneficent and magnanimous.
It was refreshing to talk to an actual human being.
Human beings behaving humanly. Brilliant.
Geico. Real service, real savings.
And now, it's time for our Geico scoring recap.
Well, we start in the first quarter. Justin Roper, the redshirt freshman, rolling out, finds Garen Strong. And then Delbert Alvarado, a field goal of 29 yards for USF. Oregon comes back. Matt Evenson from 39 yards. Well, the Bulls find the end zone. Taurus Johnson from Grothy. That tied the game up at 11. Jonathan Stewart then rumbles 71 yards to put Oregon on top, 18-11. And then the field goal off of Alvarado's foot from 35. And we're tied, or the game's 18-14 at the half. Third quarter, this game really broke open. Roper to Jason Williams. And then Ed Dixon finds the end zone from 15 yards out. And then Grothy makes a mistake. Thurman, the interception, runs it back, 39-14. And then Stewart caps off the quarter with another touchdown. And that's where we stand, 46-14 with 14:51 to play. Grothy will tuck and run. Oh, a couple of helmets. Oh, and one's off. Grothy took a shot high and low. Steve, you have to give credit to Oregon. They have not let up. They have punished, continued to punish South Florida.
That was a shot right there. I was a little bit dazed. I saw Matt Grothy. He's hurt. That was a shot.
You know, Grothy got up, and you know we saw him momentarily, and the eyes looked to be a little glazed, and then he just went down.
He tried to get up. His instinct tells him to get up, and we said he doesn't get hit very hard very often because of his running style. But you'll watch this one. I think it was Matthew Harper, number 20, coming in right there. And you can't really see it from that angle, but that's who it was. It was number 30. That was Kwame Ajiman. And he got up and then said, wait a minute, something is not right. I'm going to sit down and think about this for a second.
Get to your Jeep dealer and get a great deal during the final days of the event of a lifetime.
Get 0% financing on all 08 Jeep vehicles like Grand Cherokee.
Plus, make no payments till summer on all Jeep vehicles, including the new all Jeep Liberty.
And the fuel-efficient 28 miles per gallon Jeep Patriot.
Plus, you'll be covered by the best warranty in the business, the Jeep Lifetime Powertrain Warranty.
Blaze a trail to your Jeep dealer today, because the event of a lifetime ends in 2 days.
Steak, bacon, and egg breakfast burrito.
How about it, right?
That's hearty, man.
I gotta wonder, though, are you getting, like, steak and eggs with bacon on the side, or are you getting bacon and eggs with steak on the side?
Oh, you're definitely getting steak and eggs with bacon on the side. Steak trumps bacon every time.
Every time?
It's steak, yeah.
Yeah, but bacon is bacon. Thank you so much.
Here's my point. Steak.
Steak, bacon, and egg burrito. New at Sonic. Marinated steak, bacon, smoky cheddar, and eggs wrapped to go. And don't forget, Sonic offers a full menu all day starting at 6 a.m.
All these years, you've gone through the day without email like this in your pocket, or stock updates like this in your pocket, or internet like this in your pocket. And you survived. The question is, how?
CBS Sports presentation of the Brute Sun Bowl is sponsored by Brute Revolution, as different as you are. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. And by the new AT&T, your world delivered. Welcome back, El Paso, Texas. Good news, Matt Grothe is up after taking a wicked shot on that last play. He'll go to the sideline, 2nd down and 6, and Grant Gregory, the junior from Athens, Ohio, checks in. Took a few warm-up passes on the sideline while Grothe was down, and throws complete to Justy Hester. And Steve, moments ago.
Yeah, I mean, this is a shot that he takes a direct hit to the helmet and the shoulder right there. It was a very violent hit, and I'll tell you, Matt Grothe, to his credit, he is a tough guy. He tried to get up and get back to the huddle, but it just wasn't right. And, first and foremost, we're obviously always concerned with the well-being of the players, so they're not going to let him come back in this game unless they're absolutely sure he's fine.
Well, even more difficult to bring him back in a 46-14 ball game. Ball is tipped and intercepted. Jarris Bird.
Well, when it rains, it pours. Grant Gregory standing strong in the pocket, trying to make a throw, make a play. Gets tipped up in the air. And Amari Jackson cannot bring it down. And Jarris Bird is the one that is the welcome recipient of that pass, that gift from Grant Gregory.
That ball was tipped 3 times. Roper remains at quarterback, hands off. Stewart still in the ball game, running near side, and then steps out of bounds at the 32-yard line. You look at Oregon, Steve Berline, in the second half. You start at your 18-yard line, touchdown. At the 49, you go 51 yards for 6 more. You start at the 49 again, you go 51 again, and you pick up 6. 1 punt so far in the second half.
Yeah, and that all equals a win, or control of the ball game, as we should say. You know, you're cashing in on your opportunities. When the other team makes a mistake, you make them pay.
And the defense, of course, has come up big as well, scoring a couple of touchdowns in this second half.
Oh.
Stewart, you almost feel like he's toying right now with South Florida's defense.
And you hate to say that because you know it's not true, but the way that he run, I think if there were more question about the outcome of this ball game, you might have seen him lower that shoulder and try and pick up a few extra yards. But he's a guy that he's been through an awful lot this year. He's realizing we're in control of this game. I think I'll just scoot on out of bounds right here.
Well, he went 251 against Washington 258 yards here at the 74 Sun Bowl. High snap brought down by Roper. It's good to be 6'6". Crenshaw weaving his way. And still, the Bulls are playing very physical, and the officials have to step in. How about the day for Jonathan Stewart?
What kind of day this has been for him. I mean, that one looks pretty easy, and it was. To take it 71 yards for the touchdown, but he's the one that had to carry it there. He went to the right spot, but all day long, he's been making the right choices, making the cuts when he had to, making all the right decisions. It equals to 24 carries, 258 yards, over 10 yards a carry. Plus, he has that screen pass he took in for a touchdown as well. 2 scores. Fantastic day for Jonathan Stewart.
Second down 8. Roper play action. Oh, a little underhand toss, and it goes out of bounds. Alan Cray brought pressure on Roper.
Watch the, I guess what would be laxity of Justin Roper's body here, the way he jumps around and stretches, and that ball's flipping all over the place. He's got those long legs and the long arms. Trying to be Brett Favre there, trying to ad-lib and do whatever he's got to do to make a play.
Well, 6'6", 205. He is really impressed here in El Paso. Drops it off. It's complete to the tight end. Dixon with the grab.
And that's the same play they scored on earlier in the game. The drag route by Ed Dixon. That time South Florida much better prepared. Ooh, man, someone just went down on the field too. Walking off the field.
That's Alan Cray. Alan Cray is down, and the staff is out. You look at the total yards today. We'll try a field goal from the 20. This will be a 30-yard kick, and it's up and good. So the Ducks add 3 more. 49. Third quarter now carrying into the 4th. Many fans have left the Sun Bowl. 18-14. Steve Berline at the break, and I'll tell you, it's been all Oregon Ducks in the second half.
Yeah, you got to just tip your hat to Oregon and the job that they've done coming out this second half and really just taking control of this game.
Evenson the kick. Very few returns, and Murphy will have to take a knee 9 yards deep in the end zone. Well, don't forget, later in the game today, the 5-star play of the game presented by Wrangler. I have a feeling Jonathan Stewart will be involved.
He probably will be involved. Yes, sir.
You know, as a former quarterback, how do you grade out this young man, Justin Roper, today?
I give him a good, solid A right there. I mean, I think he's done a super job of managing this football team and doing exactly what Mike Balloty has asked him to do, and that is not make the bonehead plays, the mistake plays, you know, where you really sit there and that'll cost your team. He's made no plays like that all day long.
Mike Ford, the ball carrier, as Grothy remains on the bench. Grant Gregory will most likely take South Florida the rest of the way. There's a look at Gregory out of Athens, Ohio. Well, South Florida with 9 wins this year, that tied the school record. And see, they were hoping for 10, which would set a new school record in Tampa.
It was really important to this ball club to do it. Everybody, to a man, they were all saying the same thing, and really I felt they were going to be prepared for this ball game.
Under 12 minutes to play, ball batted down, line of scrimmage incomplete.
You know, and Jim Leavitt told us that he really felt that his team had earned the right. We talked about the Big Four earlier, the Big Four from Florida. If it's legitimate, I do definitely think it is legitimate. They had wins, as we said earlier this year, over 3 conference champions. Big East, they beat West Virginia. From Conference USA, they came out and they played and they beat Central Florida. And then from the Sun Belt Conference, they beat Florida Atlantic. No other team has beaten 3 conference champions.
Gregory on the run, takes a pop and slides past the 30 to the 31-yard line to a Tully. The outside linebacker with the hit. Look at the first half compared to the second. Rush yards to the ground game's been non-existent. The passing game fell off, obviously, in that second half. Grothy struggled with interceptions.
Well, this is a team that averages almost 200 yards rushing per game. And today they have 37 yards rushing. Oregon has just come out and slammed the door right from the get-go. And you got to give them credit.
Quick throw. A.J. Love on the receiving end. Now, you mentioned the run game. I mean, 193 yards a game. That's second best in the Big East Conference.
Yeah, they are a running football team. They make no bones about it. Now, Matt Grothy, he's the kind of guy that can hurt you and will hurt you in the passing game, but they are a running football team any way you want to slice it. And for Oregon to come out and shut them down. Now, this second half has been totally different. The numbers reflect a different ball game, but they've had so many turnovers and got down so quickly they had to abandon the run.
From the shotgun goes Gregory. Stands in the pocket, flushed on the run. Has room at the 40, 45, 50, and stays in bounds. First down, South Florida at the 45-yard line of Oregon. Well, Grant Gregory showing some good speed.
Yeah, you know, Grant Gregory, he's the son of offensive coordinator Greg Gregory, who, by the way, has done a fantastic job with this offensive football team all year long. They've been one of the most productive teams. Today, not their best day, but Grant Gregory getting to go out there and have a chance to play for his dad.
Yeah, that father-son combo as we hit the 10-minute mark of the fourth quarter. Gregory pulls that ball back in and is dropped. He'll lose a yard, maybe two, back to the 46-yard line.
If I'm Grant Gregory, I look over at my dad and I say, Dad, what was that play call all about? Come on, what are you doing? Give me a chance here.
I'm sure there's a lot of football talked in that house.
Oh, huh? I'm sure. I'm sure. Good play by Will Tukuafu. This Oregon team has just had no let-up. They smelled blood early in the third quarter, and they just kept pouring it on, and it's still going on right now.
Gregory on the rollout, throws it up top, and drops incomplete. And there's a flag. Flag on the play. Busy day for Bill Algie and his staff.
Pass interference. Defense penalized 15 yards from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Well, what percentage of Americans think brunettes are smarter than blondes? The Power of 10 returns with the question that will have America talking Wednesday at 8, 7 Central on CBS. I don't know if we should even touch that question.
No, we're not going to touch that question, but I will say this. It depends on who you ask.
That's true.
Obviously.
Draw play. Jamar Taylor driven back. Well, I tell you, Oregon, I'm impressed again. South Florida continues to try to get the yardage. Oregon, despite the big lead, will not let up.
No, they will not.
They will not let up. They continue to punish or try to punish South Florida.
If you think about it, it makes sense. This is an Oregon team that, after 9 games, was in position to make a run at the national championship. And they lose their quarterback, and it's been an absolute miserable month, or 2 months since that happened. Losing 3 straight games and then having to stew over it for a month and going to a game that really doesn't figure into the national championship picture. Very disappointing for them. They've played with a chip on their shoulder all day today.
Gregory throws up top to the end zone. Incomplete. Dontavia Bogan, the intended receiver, has had a couple of nice catches on the afternoon. 8:28 to play. Steve, that's a great point. If you really take a look at the season, this game is kind of an outpouring of emotion, frustration, and anger.
There's no doubt about it. I mean, this is, you talk to the Oregon players, and as soon as you mention where they were before Dennis Dixon went down, you just see their whole body slump. It's like whenever they're forced to think about it, the memories all come flashing back to them, and they really wanted to try and set the record straight here today that they are a good football team. And in the midst of all this, Mike Bellotti has found himself a pretty good young quarterback in Justin Roper. So the month that they've had to get ready for this game, Mike Bellotti said he could see the progress being made on a daily basis, that what this Justin Roper was really turning into a good, solid young quarterback. And I think he believes now that down the road, they've got more than one quarterback that can play in this program.
Well, Coach Bellotti doesn't expect Roper to put much weight on. He liked to have him around 215, 220.
He just said he doesn't have the frame to do it. He is a tall, skinny guy, but boy, he sure has looked good today.
South Florida 11 of 16 on 4th down tries this season. And a timeout with 8:22 to play.
Timeout. South Florida.
Lead now with 8:22 to play. 4th and 4 from the 25-yard line of Oregon. Gregory on the quick throw and a first down. Torres Johnson to the 15-yard line.
First down at the 15-yard line.
Well, Oregon is in a position now too where they'll give South Florida all those little short ones over the middle they want to take, come up and make the tackle, just keep that ball in the middle of the field, keep that clock running. They have no problem with that.
South Florida averaging nearly 36 points a game throughout the regular season. Today they've been held to 14, and Oregon crashes down, and again, it's been rough all day trying to run on the Ducks. Ashton Samuels, who is like the 4th string running back, gets a carry. Second down and 12 after the 2-yard loss. Under 8 minutes to play. We will hear a lot from South Florida as the years continue under Jim Leavitt. In Oregon, Steve Berline is in good hands with Mike Bellotti. Two very good football coaches.
I agree 100%. Jim Leavitt, his team will be back. They've learned a lot throughout the course of this season about what it takes to be a top-flight team, and the pressure that if you want to produce and if you want to be recognized as one of the best teams in the country, there's a price to pay, and you've got to show up every single week. And I think the lessons learned even from a game like this today will carry over, and he'll try and find a positive spin on it.
You know, you mentioned some of the big wins against those conference champs, but don't forget, South Florida also beat Auburn. Tommy Tuberville.
They're darn right
SEC
they did.
country, right?
They sure did. They are legitimate. There's no doubt about it. Today just wasn't their day.
Gregory out of the pocket, looks at the end zone, pulls it back, throws again, touchdown. A.J. Love. So through all the struggles here in the second half and the injury to Grothy, Grant Gregory off the bench and throws a touchdown to A.J. Love.
This is the kind of thing you look for too. If you are a head coach like Jim Leavitt, you look and see how your guys compete. Even when you're down, and even when it looks like this game may be out of reach, did these guys hang it up and throw in the towel, or do they keep competing? And Grant Gregory has not let his offense take it off. They've gone out there and competed, and they've found a way to get in the end zone.
First touchdown in the career of A.J. Love. Alvarado kicks it up and good. And let's go downstairs and check in with Sam.
And Craig, it's Dennis Dixon here, keeping busy on the sideline. You're trying to signal in the plays here and being a mentor. How important is it for you to just stay involved in the game?
It's good. I mean, I had this brought upon me when I was growing up too. Kellen Clemens guided me through the process, and I just figured I'd just return the favor.
Now, Justin Roper didn't seem nervous going into this game. What did you tell him before this one?
Tell him just to have fun. I mean, stay calm, cool, and collected. I mean, just go and practice. It's nothing but practice. People filled up the stadium, that's all.
What is he doing right this afternoon?
I beg your pardon?
What is he doing correct this afternoon?
Not turning the ball over, which is good, which is giving us a shot to make plays.
Now, you actually partially tore the ligament in your knee in the Arizona State game, then played in the Arizona game before you actually went down. You made that decision. If you had to do it all over again, would you still make that decision?
I'd make it again. I don't regret anything. I mean, at that point, I felt as if my knee was stable. I felt confident on the first scored touchdown, running touchdown. I mean, it's just one freak accident, that's all.
Dennis, thank you. Good luck in the future.
Thank you.
Craig?
All right, Sam, thank you. Dennis Dixon Yeah, a lot of people forget, injured at the during the Arizona State game, and that knee buckled again and gave way against Arizona November 15th, taking one of the top premier quarterbacks out of the game. Big return by Jones up to around the 45-yard line. And you look at, Tebow, of course, a Heisman Trophy winner. 10 games for Dixon, 12 for Tebow. I mean, Steve, and many coaches that we talked to and players would say, had Dixon stayed healthy, in their minds, it could have changed the outcome of the Heisman vote.
Looking back at it, there's really no way to tell. But you have to understand, too, this number right here, 10 games, really was just 9 games in a quarter of that 10th game. So he would have had 3 more full games. I think, in my opinion, Oregon would be one of the teams right up there with a chance to play for the national championship. And I guarantee you that the voting for the Heisman Trophy would have been a lot more interesting. I think Dennis Dixon would have been right in the middle of it without a doubt.
Number 5.
Well, that's the thing about the game. As you know, injury plays such a big part. How deep you are will take you how far some teams progress as the season continues on. And plus, too, don't forget West Virginia lost late to Pittsburgh, and that changed the whole outcome of the BCS title game as well.
Sure did. I mean, the way the system is set up right now, you can't lose a game late in the year or you don't have a chance. But point being about Dennis Dixon, when he was playing, when he was healthy, this Oregon ball club was as good as anybody in the country, and they're sure playing pretty well today, too.
Well, Cody Kemp is now checked in for Justin Roper in relief. That's Alston, the ball carrier, dropped down. The clock now running down to 5.5 to play.
One last point, though, on Dennis Dixon, just to talk about. This is a kid that the more I learn about him, the more I read about him, the more I understand that there's a lot more to him than what you see on the field. He's a happy kid. He's a 3.4 student, academic All-American. He's got his priorities right, and he's going to come out of this okay. He's young enough to where this injury, there's a lot of guys that might lose some confidence coming off an injury like this. He's going to be back, and he's going to have the option to play both football and baseball, drafted by the Atlanta Braves.
Don't forget, yeah, terrific baseball player, and he'll have that decision to make.
Number 27.
Brown is tripped up. Well, the first half compared to half number 2 for Oregon, 205 yards rushing, 123 in the second half, 279, 230. Look at the points, 18 in the first, and they put 31 up. But don't forget, the defense chipped in 2 touchdowns.
21 points off of turnovers. There were 3 turnovers they converted into 21 points. That was a big part of it, but this Oregon offense has been in control the whole game as well. They really had a good game plan, fantastic execution, and you got to just say today was definitely their day.
Cyree with the punt, angles to the corner. It's taken down by Edwards at the 5, at the 10, and then steps out of bounds around the 13-yard line. Now it's time for the 5-star play of the game, presented by Wrangler.
No mystery, the 71-yard touchdown run by Jonathan Stewart early in the game, second quarter. That was really the play that broke the game open, put Oregon firmly in control. Jonathan Stewart happy to take advantage of the big hole provided by his offensive line.
A 253-yard rushing game for Jonathan Stewart. Four minutes to play. South Florida with the football. And let's check out our Ruby Tuesday player of the game. Who else but Jonathan Stewart? I mentioned the 253 on the ground. Also a touchdown by air. The career high today of 253.
It speaks for itself. 253 yards running the ball against a very good run defense in South Florida. Could have made a case for Justin Roper, the job he did today, but the key, we said it in the open. Interception.
Watch out. Clear sailing. Touchdown, Oregon.
Well, it just gets worse for South Florida, better for Oregon.
55-21.
And that's about as easy an interception as you're ever going to see.
You know, and what's great in a game like this, I mean, even though it's lopsided, Steve Berline, both these teams have been able to use a lot of players. Final game of the season, they're going 5 and 6 deep with Oregon's defense, and South Florida's also used a lot of players that rarely see action.
You're getting chances to get guys out there on the field that normally wouldn't get a chance to be out there on the football field. Right here, Grant Gregory going down, tries to throw a pass, and that's DiVincenzo, a guy who I think it's safe to say hasn't been a big part of their defense during the course of the season, but right there showing he can play too. And boy, what a thrill for him to catch that pass and take it in for a touchdown.
A moment in time he will never forget.
No doubt about it.
Well, another Sun Bowl fact, 56 points scored today by Oregon. That's a new Sun Bowl record. You know, much like New England in the National Football League, record after record, Oregon has a few. A couple they like and a couple they won't like, and that's the main one is the penalties that we saw today. Combining penalties between South Florida and Oregon.
Well, I think Mike Ballotti, he'll even get over the fact that they had all those penalties in the first half. The way his team came out and played the second half, extremely impressive.
So the Ducks are set to kick again. Turnovers, defense will be the story in the second half.
Well, we said we gave the player of the game, we give to Jonathan Stewart. And that reason being that running game really did set the tone. It made Justin Roper's job much more manageable out there. He took advantage of the opportunity. Fantastic performance for all these guys.
Kick is short at the 5-yard line. Johnson racing, turns on the jets and crashes down at the 32-yard line. Don't forget tomorrow the Conica Minolta Gator Bowl. You'll see it here on CBS. Texas Tech taking on 20th ranked Virginia. That's tomorrow, 1 Eastern here on CBS. Vern Lundquist, Gary Danielson on the call as we look down on the Sun Bowl. And could not have enjoyed a better day. I mean, blue skies, 54 degrees as we kicked it. It got into the low 60s this afternoon. Beautiful day.
Well, I got in Friday morning. It was downright chilly for a couple days here Friday, Saturday, but they kept saying it was going to be up at 60 and sunny today. It was absolutely picture perfect all day long.
Gregory will tuck and run out of a tackle or two. And Steve, let's go back and update above the line.
Well, we said for the Oregon offense, it comes down to third down, 8 of 14. That's pretty solid right there for Oregon. USF defense forced the issue. They have caused very little problem for this Oregon offense at all. They've not done a very good job of creating problems. For the USF, for the South Florida offense, went in the red zone. They did not. They had 2 chances in the red zone. They were 0 for 2, ended up with field goals. And then the final point being
Grothy's
the takeaways from Grothy's wheel. Take away Grothy's wheels. He was really never a factor than a few plays in that first half. Came out and made a couple plays with his feet, throwing the ball, running the ball. Overall wins all the way across the board for Oregon.
I got a feeling they're sneaking on the sideline. I got a feeling that the bucket's coming for Mike Bellotti.
Yeah, is he going to sniff it out?
Heads up. Got him. Got him. Clock running. Celebration on the Oregon sideline. And Steve, the Ducks will go to 9-4 on the season. And that ends that 3-game losing streak to end the regular season campaign, while South Florida will go to 9-4. Still, those 9 wins, don't forget, ties their school record.
A great season, tremendous season for South Florida, and for Oregon to end it on a positive note after the last 3 games. Great way to end the season for them. You know, these are both teams that are going to be right in the middle of it next year, because they're going to do nothing but get better as they go into next year.
That pass was intended for A.J. Love. That stops the clock with 1:34 to play. Again, we want to thank the Sun Bowl Committee for hosting CBS and all of our crew do a great job here in El Paso. The whole town, the whole city comes together.
The city is just so proud of the city. All the people here absolutely love being in El Paso, and they love showing it off, and they really do roll out the red carpet for us every year, and we are much appreciative of that.
That punt will bounce into the end zone. And 1:26 to play.
First and 10 for the Ducks at their 20-yard line.
I think the question we got to ask too, though, now you talk about Oregon. Dennis Dixon, now he's going to be moving on to the next level. You've got the opportunity to see Justin Roper. Who's gonna be the factor to step in for Oregon when it all gets down to it next year? You will see how they can respond to life without Dennis Dixon. I think today was a pretty good start for him.
Yeah, that quarterback battle will be interesting come spring football, especially the way that Roper performed in this ball game.
Well, lost in the shuffle of all this was the fact that Nathan Costa, who was a sophomore quarterback, who would have really gotten a chance to play when Dennis Dixon went down after Brady Leaf got hurt. He's a kid that blew his knee out in practice and never got a chance to see the field, and that was what given really Justin Roper his opportunity to play today. So the two of them, I'm sure, will have a nice competition going into next year.
Second and 8.
That brings up 2nd down and 8 as we hit 1 minute to play. Now, fans in Oregon and Eugene especially will be excited tonight as the new year approaches. Ducks letting that play clock run out. And the snap taken with 5 on the play clock on the keeper. And Cody Kemp to the 40-yard line.
Kemp trying to take advantage of his opportunity to play to another redshirt freshman.
All about Jonathan Stewart today, 253 yards, and he still looks refreshed, does he not?
He does. He does. I mean, I cannot get over how easy it was for this running game of Oregon. The offensive line needs to be recognized too. They did a fantastic job of opening up those seams to get Jonathan Stewart up in there. He'd be the first one to pass the credit on to them, I'm sure.
So Kemp set to take what should be the final snap of the Sun Bowl. On the keeper, stumbling to the 45. And they're going to keep the clock running. That's it. Oregon wins the 74th Sun Bowl. 56-21 for Steve Berline, Sam Ryan, Craig Bolerjack. We say so long from the Sun Bowl in El Paso. Oregon 56, South Florida 14. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports.
Nick?